So, you've done it. You put in the years, the late nights, the endless debugging sessions, and now you're a senior software engineer. You're a leader, you're respected. But with all that comes this huge question. What's next? Today, we're going to break down the two big paths that open up from here. You know, for the first time in your career, the way forward isn't just a straight line. Up to this point, it was pretty clear, right? Get better at coding, ship more complex stuff. But now, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to managing people, the other leads deeper into the technical maze. This is the big crossroads. Okay, so why is it so critical to be thinking about this now? Well, because a lot of tech companies run on something you could call the anti-Peter principle. And the idea is actually pretty simple. To get the next job, you have to already be doing that job. They're not just going to make you a manager and then hope you figure it out. You have to start showing those skills today to get that title tomorrow. And that brings us right to the core of what we're talking about today, the senior engineer's crossroads. This is that moment where you stop just following a path and you start intentionally designing the next chapter of your career.
I mean, think about it. The ladder up to this point has been pretty straightforward, yeah? You start as a junior, you learn the ropes, you become a mid-level, you get some independence. Then you're a senior, you're owning big projects. Each step logically follows the last. But then you get here. And suddenly, there's just a big old question mark. This is the first real choice you have to make.
And hey, before we go any further, let's just get one thing perfectly clear. It is 100% okay to stay a senior engineer. For a lot of people, this is the sweet spot. And if you love the work and it fits your life, there is absolutely no pressure to climb higher. These next roles are a different beast, and deciding to take one on is a choice, not a requirement.
Okay, but let's say you are looking for that next challenge. Let's walk down the first path you could take, becoming an engineering manager.
This quote really nails the whole thing. As an engineer, your job is to build a great product. As an engineering manager, your job is to build a great team that builds the product. See the shift? Your focus moves from code to humans. Your team's wins are now your wins. So what does that actually look like? Well, your day-to-day is going to change a lot. You'll be spending way less time in your code editor and a whole lot more time in one-on-ones, in planning meetings, and dealing with performance reviews. You basically become the shield for your team, clearing away obstacles and politics so that your engineers can just focus on doing what they do best.
All right, now let's check out that other path. This is for all you who just can't imagine giving up the code, the people who want to go even deeper into the technical weeds. Let's talk about the staff engineer.
This quote really highlights that core difference, doesn't it? A staff engineer's world is still all about the tech. You're not worrying about performance reviews, you're worrying about the performance of a critical system 5 years from now. Your leadership comes from your technical vision and your architectural guidance.
The job here is all about technical leverage and scale. You're making the big architectural calls that could affect the company for years. You're mentoring other engineers, basically leveling up the entire organization's skill set. And you're the one making sure that as the company grows, the technical foundation doesn't crumble.
Okay, so we've got two roles that sound completely different, right? One is all about people, the other's all about tech. But here's the twist. They actually share a surprising amount of DNA. Yeah, despite all the differences, both of these roles have some key things in common. For one, your scope just explodes. You're not just thinking about your team anymore, you're thinking about the whole organization. Your work also gets way more ambiguous. Gone are the days of a well-defined ticket, now you're tackling fuzzy, high-level problems. And maybe most importantly, in both roles, communication becomes your superpower. You've got to be able to explain incredibly complex ideas to a whole bunch of different people.
So we get the roles, we see the differences, we see the similarities, but that brings us right back to the big question. How in the world do you choose which path is right for you?
And here's the key mindset shift you need to make. This decision isn't an engineering problem. You can just optimize to find the one right answer. It's a design problem. And what do we do with good design problems? We explore, we empathize with our future selves, and we prototype. So how do you prototype a career? It's actually easier than it sounds. Start with some small experiments. Ask if you can shadow a manager for a day, and then a staff engineer. See what their calendars really look like. Take people in both roles out for coffee. Ask them what they love about their job, and more importantly, what they hate. And for sure, find mentors on both sides who can give you the real, unfiltered story. And now for what might be the most liberating piece of advice in this whole thing. The decision you make, it does not have to be for the rest of your life. It is not permanent. In fact, a lot of people build amazing careers by acting like a pendulum. You might swing over to management for a few years, learn a ton about business and strategy, and then swing back to a high-level technical role, bringing all that new knowledge with you. Moving back and forth can actually make you way more effective in the long run.
So the real takeaway here isn't about making some massive, irreversible choice today. Not at all. It's just about taking the next small, concrete step. So the real question I want to leave you with is this: which path are you going to prototype first?